Fox News has now removed every remaining staffer that was actually a part of Tucker Carlson's team. So this news just became available to us here. This is a important story because it tells the climate that we're looking at for the future of Fox News, for cable programming, and for independent shows, and how they can be successful and what that future is going to look like as we get ready to head into the next election year. So let's go ahead and jump right into this article here. So first of all, this is in a move that is obviously blowing up across the different news outlets where the Tonight Show staff have all basically been cut at this point. Now, this might be a little bit misleading if you're not already aware that many of the staff already left Tucker Carlson, or at least that show, that the remaining staffers that worked under him already left. Now, if you haven't been aware of this, Tucker Carlson is actually doing an entire show on Twitter. I advise you check it out. It's a really good show as well. But the idea here is that he's already doing his own thing. He's already successful outside of Fox News. So many of the staffers that were already employed for Fox saw this success and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to head over there. I'm going to go ahead and side with Tucker Carlson because clearly Fox doesn't know what they're doing, and they really don't know what they're doing. So Chadwick Moore actually spoke about this a bit here and basically had sources that told him that they terminated the rest of the staff. So apparently there were 9 remaining employees that were actually continuing to work there, and they basically told him, hey, pack your bags, you need to go. You need to leave by mid-July. That's basically what they told him. So they basically have to leave in about a month. Now, what's interesting is that these people are the people that actually chose not to really side with Tucker Carlson. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like Tucker Carlson just disappeared. As I mentioned, he's doing his own show on Twitter. So these staffers that were still there are ones that actually were continuing to do stuff for Fox, that actually weren't moving out of Fox and going to work for Tucker Carlson's team. They just decided to stay with Fox. And many of them actually mentioned that. So they said here it was an anonymous producer had weighed in, calling the action shockingly callous. And then particularly given the several producers have been loyal to the network for over a decade. So these are people that were kind of in Fox's favor, not so much in Tucker's favor. And the reality is that's where we're sitting at right now. But Fox doesn't care. They want anybody affiliated with Tucker's team out. That's the reality that we're facing right now. So this all kind of was started based off of a 27-second or so banner that was displayed on the network by one of their producers. So basically what this guy did is that he called Biden a wannabe dictator. That's basically what it said, like in the lower thirds area of the video. And effectively, when this took place, someone at Fox News, one of the executives, just lost their mind. And basically this producer wound up losing their job as a result. Now, this is one of those situations where it says, well, they technically resigned. But we all know what really happened, right? They were forced out. They were forced out because they were given kind of the ultimatum. You can either get fired, lose your benefits, or basically be able to keep your benefits, but just say that you left. So they were forced out either way because of something as much as just calling Biden a wannabe dictator. That's where Fox is at right now. So when you're looking at these people and you're seeing what they're doing right now, the reality is that Fox is declining. As stated in a very recent video here, the viewership numbers have dropped as a result of this. You can't just fire these A-list type talents like Tucker and then expect to still pull the same viewership that you were pulling before. The reality is that the networks were held together, really, by people like Tucker. Now, of course, there are other different voices that are on Fox News right now. You still have Hannity. There's a few others that are on there, of course. But the reality is that it's going to suffer as a result of this. And when you look at, say, Dan Bongino, he's no longer on there either. There's a bunch of people that are just kind of leaving Fox as it stands. Producers, different show hosts, and all of these people are going off and doing their own thing. And I think what Fox needs to realize right now is that they're never going to be able to compete with the CNN. The reality is that no liberals, even though they keep heading in this left-wing direction, no liberals are going to want to tune into Fox News because they got rid of Tucker. I mean, where is the liberal that's standing around saying, hey, you know what, I've been waiting for 10 years, for Fox to finally allow for us leftists to finally have a place to watch this network that still hosts conservatives on it. So I'm going to go ahead and watch Fox now that Tucker's gone. I don't think that's happening. Like, I'm positive that's not what's taking place here. So the idea here is that Fox executives, and we kind of go through this article, Fox executives seem determined to clean the slate of Carlson's loyalists and regroup after firing the top-rated host in late April. So amid plummeting ratings, which once again we've talked about in several other videos as well, Fox News declared a reshuffle of its primetime slots. We have Jesse Waters permanently taking over Carlson's previous slot at this time. So before this news was actually announced just a day ago, they were basically trying to fill the spot with other hosts, and they were literally getting like less than half the viewership that Tucker was bringing in, simply because it wasn't Tucker Carlson. Like, you can't just bring in these random people, even popular people. Like, you have to realize that people weren't just tuning in because it was 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or whatever the time is. They were tuning in because of Tucker. And that's what they have to realize. And Fox is kind of neglecting that and basically saying, we don't care. We're going to get rid of not only all the staff, and I think they're kind of mad about it. They're mad about what happened to Tucker, and they're trying to get rid of any remnants of that. And the reason why is because a lot of Tucker's staff actually left Fox after he was fired, and actually started joining his show. So as I mentioned, Tucker doing very well over on Twitter right now. So another article here talking about the viewership. So on the first show that Tucker actually put out, surpassed 100 million views on Thursday in less than 2 days, okay, since he actually posted it on Twitter. So once again, if you're looking for, it's not like Tucker Carlson just disappeared somewhere. He's still out there. He's still doing videos on Twitter. Check it out. It's a great show and really highlights the idea that you can still be successful in this space without having to be on a mainstream news network, right? Fox is not making good decisions here. I think they realize that. I think they're mad that a lot of the staff that was previously working for Tucker left, and now they're just saying, just get rid of them all. Just get them all out of here, because they realize that it's just been nothing but an absolute failure. So during this first show that he actually did, and once again, he's continuing to do these, so I highly advise you to check these out. This kind of also will help to fight against that mainstream media like Fox News, where they're turning far more left than they should be, because what it's showing is, hey, we don't need you. We don't need you to survive here. And let's be honest, it's a lot cheaper to produce a show with just one person like Tucker doing it on his own than having to support an entire conglomerate like Fox and trying to bring in all this viewership. So you very well could see Fox failing a few years from now because they just keep making bad decisions. They're not going to have anyone left. I mean, really ask yourself, what is the reason why anybody would want to be watching Fox News right now? I mean, there really isn't a good reason at this point. Like I mentioned, there's a few other conservative voices that are on there, but the reality is that people are losing interest. It's very clear, especially when you look at Tucker's numbers here on Twitter. So the idea here is that when he was actually putting up this first episode, it was actually a 10-minute long monologue on Twitter Tuesday night where he was focusing on Ukraine's coverage, the refusal to question narratives, and talked about other trending topics. But the idea here is that he's seeing massive success away from Fox News, not with Fox News. So I think that this just shows that Fox is outdated. They don't know what they're doing. They're making bad decisions over and over again. It just isn't making any sense. So this is all really kind of dealing with Rupert Murdoch, right? I mean, this is the guy that is responsible for firing Tucker Carlson. And to be honest with you, no one knows exactly specifically why. I mean, there's speculations, of course, but there really isn't a good reason, and I'm just saying that because that's the only thing that we have going for us right now. There's no good reason why they would get rid of Tucker in this situation. It's simply because I think they don't like him. They don't like what he does. They don't like what he stands for. Whatever it is, maybe him being too controversial, but that's why people were watching. So when you put on these hosts that are just kind of milquetoast and not really going after the main topics that are happening and are important in our society today, that's what you have left. That's all you're going to have left. It's just these people that are unwilling to speak the truth, unwilling to question the narrative, and just kind of go along with whatever. I don't think that's what people want, and it's very clear when you're looking at 100 million, over 100 million people tuning into Tucker's show. So the real news and the real story here is go watch Tucker's show on Twitter. It's a lot better. It's not Fox, and the reality is that if they're going to continue to do this to producers, to other people getting mad that somebody called Biden a wannabe dictator, which is just a statement of fact. I mean, but remember, meanwhile, CNN can put up things like after Trump got arrested saying, hey, he's a liar. But they have no evidence of that whatsoever. Do you really think that CNN is that a producer got fired for putting that lower thirds up? Of course they didn't. They didn't get fired for that. So you're seeing this double standard where CNN can print and publish whatever they want to publish, but on the other hand, Fox News is trying to tell people, hey, you can't do the same thing. You can't basically try to post something that actually is an opinion, which is what the news network is based on, especially when you're dealing with Tucker's show. So that's really the story here. Go watch Tucker's show on Twitter. It's really good and is a lot better and really kind of just strikes a blow for showing that you don't need to have your show on Fox News to be successful. And so with that being said, that's all I have for you on this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.